I'm Bob Wendover. I have been supervising people for a long time now. And if I had to pick one liability that I suffer from more than any other, it's the temptation to just make the decision and just move on, even if it's somebody else's responsibility. How about you? Now, the reasons for this are several. It's easier, I'm impatient, I can teach the person how to make the decision. You get the idea. Of course, there are downsides to this approach. The person will let you make the decision so they don't have to. They will grow dependent upon you to make every decision, no matter how small. When you're not around, they will wait rather than moving forward. And as a result, they will not grow in their critical thinking and confidence to act. As a leader, the people around you rarely have the same level of investment in doing the work as you do. And as a result, they're generally happy to let you do all the thinking. Besides, it's safer. When something goes wrong, it's your fault, not theirs, right? But being the center of all decisions can consume all of your time if you let it. As a colleague put it, it's also the difference between being a leader and a manager. If you're a leader, those around you make confident, independent decisions based on desired outcomes. If you're a manager, you're directing all the tasks, including the details thereof. But you can't be both. As I've worked with leaders and managers in a wide variety of disciplines, the difference is rather stark. I find the managers or the leaders behaving like managers complaining about overwhelm and not having enough time to accomplish the tasks for which they are responsible. The effective leaders, on the other hand, have no such complaints. They're generally relaxed and focused on the bigger picture. And this allows them to make time for conversations and research and the thinking so crucial to moving the organization forward. So, what can you do to reduce the chances of getting sucked into this situation? Well, here are 5 simple techniques that work for me and others that I'm sure will work for you. Number 1, manage the monkey. In other words, resist the reflective decision-making that creates dependence among those around you. I'll admit this can be tough to implement at first, but it's worth the investment of energy. Rather than making the decision, respond with something like, well, how do you think we should approach this? Or something of that nature. But then wait for them to speak. Don't relent and let them just kind of wait for you. Over time, they'll begin to pick up on your approach, and they will adapt to it. Number 2, train on decision-making. Over the years, I've become convinced that 80 to 85% of all decisions in most jobs revolve around about 20 scenarios or situations. In fact, that's the premise of my forthcoming book, What's Your 20? If you define and then teach the people around you how to make decisions for each of these 20 typical situations, you will save tons of time by referring them back to those steps when they approach you for a decision. Now, number 3. Make your delegation stick. Most any delegation revolves around 4 steps. Assign the responsibility with clear outcomes and expectations. Provide the authority to act. Provide the resources needed, if any. And assure them that you have their back when mistakes are made or the unexpected happens, if you will. When they approach you for a decision that you have delegated, point them back in this direction and make sure that they make the decision, not you. Now, number 4, discuss typical decisions during meetings. Decisions in most organizations have patterns. Take time during meetings to discuss typical situations or challenges and how to handle them until everybody is comfortable dealing with them. You can also discuss the anomalies as well when they appear. And number 5, celebrate confident and independent decision-making. We don't give enough pats on the back. What gets rewarded gets done. And this is true of decision-making as much as any other task. When you take time to recognize good decision-making, everyone else will take note and try to match that performance. Now, give these a try. It may take some time for you to feel comfortable using them, but over time, you will save all kinds of time and energy. Have you got a technique that works for you? Put it in the comments. We'd all like to know. I'm Bob Wendover.